Hi, my name's Darren Jalland. I'm a minister of a Church of Scotland congregation in Aberdeen in Scotland. And I was watching the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games in Paris last night. And something that happened during that really shocked me and really disturbed me, to be quite honest. And that was the announcement that 1 in 70 people in the world are now displaced. It was a stat that came out as the Olympic refugee team were being introduced to the audience. Now, if you thought I was going to say that it was something completely different that shocked me, I'm not surprised, because what appears to have happened over the last 24 hours or so is that a large amount of Christians, especially online, have found themselves getting particularly agitated by one part of the ceremony. And it was this. It was a tableau that happened partway through the opening ceremony, where a bunch of drag queens and dancers and a DJ did a pastiche of Leonardo da Vinci's painting, The Last Supper. And there have been accusations that Christianity or Christ are being mocked, are being taken the mickey out of, that Christians themselves are under attack. In fact, such was the level of anger towards the ceremony as a whole and the amount of perceived wokeness that was in there, that some people went as far as to say that France or even the West has fallen. Now, I think they might be going a little bit over the top, especially when it comes to this pastiche of Da Vinci's Last Supper. It is one of the most taken off paintings that there has ever been. There are versions that you can find with the cast of Battlestar Galactica, House MD, The Sopranos, Alien Covenant, and even The Simpsons, who have all done versions of this. In fact, if you were to do a Google search, you will find countless versions of The Last Supper, all done by different groups of people. In fact, I even found one that was done by long-haired Dachshunds. This is not Christianity being mocked. What has upset people, and it is clear from some of the comments, is not what has happened, but it is who it is that has done it. It's the fact that there are drag queens involved in this. It is the fact that it is people who are gender non-conforming who are involved in this. And if you don't believe me, look at lots of the comments that have happened on this. They all draw allusions to either the fact that there are drag queens or transsexual people there, or a progressive agenda that is being pushed in order to push Christianity out. This is nothing to do with the fact that the Last Supper was recreated by a different group of people. This was entirely down to who it was that was doing it, because we do not hear this sort of outrage when it comes to other groups that are doing it. As Christians, we need to be more careful with the things that we get outraged and angered about. Now, do I feel overly comfortable with it? I can't say I liked it. I wasn't a big fan of the opening ceremony overall, except for a few parts of it. But outrage? Definitely not. I'm not going to get outraged by something like this when we hear that 1 in 70 people in the world are currently displaced. When we see so much of that displacement happening on our news bulletins on a nightly basis. Just look at what is happening in Gaza at the moment, where a population of 2 million are almost entirely displaced at this moment in time. We have the rise of a far right happening in the Western world. Just look at the election results that happened in the UK and in France, and what's happening in the United States right now. And a large amount of the reason for that is people who are angry about refugees entering this country or other countries. It is a hatred of the other, of the vulnerable. And that is the sort of thing that Christians should get outraged about. We should get outraged about the amount of people who are struggling to put food on the table at the moment, the rising number of people needing to use food banks, the rising number of people who don't have a home, who don't have shelter, who don't have a bed to sleep in at night, the rising number of children who are getting caught in a cycle of poverty. We should not be getting angry over people recreating a painting, regardless of what it is that that painting is of. If we want to spread the gospel, the good news of Jesus Christ, and we want to avoid damage being done to that, what do we think it is that is damaging the message, that is damaging the way that the outside world look at the church, look at Christians, and look at Jesus more? Is it a group of drag queens recreating a photograph in an Olympic opening ceremony? Or is it Christians getting ridiculously upset about it and angry and shouting that it's satanic and that the Olympics should be boycotted? Which one does more damage to the gospel? Which one does more damage to how Christians are perceived? The answer should be obvious. We should be light in this world, shining a light on proper injustices, shining a light on the way in which God's will is not being done on this earth. And there are so many examples we see where the vulnerable, the weak, the marginalised are pushed to the sides, are oppressed, are taken advantage of in the Bible, and God speaking out about that through his prophets and through Jesus time and time and time again. Not once does he say, oh, by the way, if anybody takes off anything that happens in any of these books, if anyone recreates a painting at some stage in the future, you need to get even more angry about that. We are the hands and feet of Jesus Christ in this world. We should be going out there and helping the marginalised and accepting that not everybody is going to accept the message that we bring. Accepting that sometimes people are going to treat it with irreverence. People are going to mock it, and I don't happen to think that what happened last night was mocking. But we should also accept that that comes with the territory. But the real outrage should be left for all of the injustices and the suffering and the hatred and the division that is actually going on in this world. So let's come together for the right reasons. Let's not get overly upset about people recreating paintings, and let's actually use what we have been given, the Holy Spirit, the gospel of Jesus Christ, and the gifts that he uses through us to heal this world and to reconcile it to the Lord our God. Thank you.